Hey, hey y'all. It's Delores, the pastor's daughter. I'm just on my way to the chiropractor and decided to come on for a minute and just say hey. Just catch up with y'all. I got a Jolly Rancher in my mouth, so in case you hear me sucking on something. I got one of those cinnamon fire ones that I was showing y'all the other day on my writing, in my late night writing session. Which I probably have another one tonight, actually. Because I have a lot of work I need to do on the book. But yeah, so I'm on my way to the chiropractor. I'm having some pain in my neck, like all the way, from down my neck and into my shoulder, and so we can go see if we can get that worked out. So I posted a video. Guess it was late last night now, but it was a 9.5 minute snippet, and it's just 9.5 minutes of a Bible study message. Well, actually, it was actually a message that my father delivered just before we were having a business meeting, a church business meeting, to discuss some plans that he had for the church, and what the state of our finances and stuff like that. We have been working on paying off our existing building so that we could get our roof fixed and get some other maintenance type stuff done, structural stuff done to our existing church. So we were all paying off a little bit more, or paying a little bit more, giving a little bit more in tithe and offering, just so that and towards the building fund, so that we could get it paid off sooner, and so that we can go ahead and start doing the work to get it fixed. So every time it would rain, it would rain inside the church. And so my father, along with the deacons, and some people around the community or whatever, they would get up there it seemed like every other month they would get on the roof and do some patchwork. So really, it was, they were just rigging up. It's just a patchwork job on the roof. And the entire time we were there, about 15 years, that roof leaked the entire time. And they just kept rigging it, and it would just leak in another spot. And it just seemed like it just kept getting worse and worse. But anyway, so we were all on this campaign to pay off the church so that we could go ahead and start doing renovations to it. And then the next thing we know, when we came to church for that meeting, where that I posted that snippet of that video. I mean, the snippet of my father's teaching just before that meeting. What was my whole point? See, I just lost my whole train of thought. That's that fibromyalgia. I had lost my whole... What was I about to say, y'all? Just before the meeting. Yeah, okay, so we were trying to discuss what we're gonna do. Jesus Christ. My whole thought just left my whole brain. Don't y'all hate when that happens? So I'm just gonna start off wherever. Okay, so when we were I posted that snippet we were coming in there to have a meeting about, you know, the direction that the church was going to go. And then that day, my father announced, hey, you know, I'm going to open up a thrift store in the back of the church, which was in the fellowship hall area. Now, that's where, you know, we had all of our, you know, our dinners, our events and stuff like that. All of our church events. But instead of using that space for that, he decided to turn it into a thrift store. So, like, it was like he just came to church and just said it, just like, hey, yeah, God told me to do this. And so he took money from the church account and used it to invest in buying a bunch of secondhand goods. So like he would get all these materials and all of these secondhand goods from like old storage units, maybe even thrift stores that were giving away stuff or whatever like that. And so he would invest money. Like he spent money to buy these storage units, you know, not even really knowing what was in them. You know, kind of like those, you know, those shows where they have like the storage wars or whatever. And you could really only see kind of like what's right there, like on the outside of the storage unit. And you just have to pretty much take a gamble on what's inside. And you bid on it, you know, hoping that, you know, you find some treasure. Well, see, that was my father's thing. He loved to do that type of stuff. Well, see, that's what he liked to do in his personal, you know, his personal money and his personal business ventures. But as a church, we weren't interested in doing any of that stuff. And not only that, but him investing, you know, the church funds into doing that, you know, also meant that he was, you know, asking us to work the store, to stock it, to maintain it, to collect money, to, you know, he was even asking us to, you know, donate stuff or to sell stuff, you know. And so it was an obligation that, you know, not only did he, you know, obligate himself to, you know, as a full-time pastor, but he also obligated us to it and had the full expectation that we were going to do it, and got mad at us. Okay, you hear me? Like that first 9-minute snippet of that sermon, that's just the first 9 minutes. Like it gets worse from there. It gets more threatening from there. Basically I felt like he was cursing us, he was condemning us, he was chastising us, he was beating us down, and all the while he's building himself up to push this, you know, this is what I want, you know, I want this big church. And why? Like, why does he want this big church? And it's like, because he wants to live up to his family's reputation. He wants to live up to the Haddons. You know? Like, he wants to live up to, you know, other family, the Lasters that live in Detroit. But he's not the Haddons. He's not, you know, he's not his brother. He's not his sister. He's him. But he was obligating us all to fulfilling this fantasy, this grandiose fantasy of a huge church. A huge church that there was not even the people there to fill it, or to pay for it, to maintain it. Because we couldn't do it with the smaller church that we had. We couldn't do it with that. Every single storm, the light rains, it would rain inside. That building has so much damage done to it, and just secondhand junk that my father decided he wanted to hoard the church with, and then obligated us to sorting that crap out. Absolutely not. And that was how I grew up. Like, I didn't have a choice growing up. That was my life. Like, I had to sort out all of this junk. Like, I'm telling you, I spent my entire life doing this. Like, the only thing he did was, my father would move to a city and do the same hustles. Church, tires, a thrift store, and cars. Like, that's what every hustler does. A church, okay? A thrift store, tires, and cars. Everywhere we went, my entire life. And he would always wrap the church up into all his personal business ventures. So it's like, okay, well, the pastor wants to run a thrift store. He's going to involve every last church member. And then if you don't want to do it, he's going to preach on you on Sunday. And he's going to condemn you on Sunday. Well, I didn't get the help I needed. You know, we're the reason why the thrift store doesn't end up being successful. We're the reason why there's nobody in the church. We're the reason why the church is this and the church is that. And no, it's the leadership. It's the leadership. It's the pastor. And it's like, real talk, y'all. Like, it's like the more and more I do this, the more, you know, days that go by, the more angry I get that this is the state of affairs right now. And it's not just my family. It's not just my little, you know, my little family and my little, you know, church that we came from. No, this is huge. This is huge. And I totally believe that there's people invested in me shutting the hell up and not exposing my father's foolishness. I fully believe that. Because otherwise I'd be getting more support. As many pastors and bishops and apostles and gospel artists and ministers and all of that I have in my family, and I feel really alone. And I'm just trying to figure out why. Like, I'm trying to figure out why I'm feeling alone in this fight when I've got all of these family members who are claiming to be Christians, who are pastors, who are actual leaders in the church. How am I feeling alone right now? My father wasn't hiding his foolishness. He posted a lot of his sermons on social media. Of course, he scrubbed them now because I've started exposing him. But I told you guys, like, he kicked me, like, he blocked me from his social media. But it wasn't because I was bothering him on social media. I wasn't leaving any comments or anything. He blocked me because he wanted me to stop seeing what he was doing. And he wanted to stop exposing me. But since then, he's unblocked me. See, my father is not that social media smart. So when he blocked me, he didn't realize that that was going to interfere with how much he could see of my activity. He didn't know that he was going to be blocking himself from seeing what I was doing. So he unblocked me so that he could keep tabs. But he scrubbed all of his sermons off social media and rarely even posts anymore. Instead, my brother, who is brainwashed and who's a flying monkey, is posting my father's sermons through his page. And see, that's a whole other story. I want to tell you that story about my brother, too. I'll tell you guys about all of them. But I'll probably tell you about the flying monkey one first. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this back adjusted. And then I guess I'm gonna come back. No, I'm gonna come back and shoot a different video. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Bye bye for now.